Hey there, how are you doing? Welcome to Change by Choice. Today, we are going to be tackling, as we're entering into a new year, 5 tips to 10x your life for the new year coming up. So if that's something that is piquing your interest right now, so you want to make sure that you've got a notepad and a pen ready to take down some of these tips and see which ones that you can apply into your life right away, right? So it's not about next week, it's not about next month, it's about what things can you start to implement and action on right away so that you can start to see the results and add more energy, more happiness, to be less chaotic in your life daily, right? So before we get started, my name is Charlotte Farrow, and I am a certified high performance coach. I also have a leadership and development consulting business called Thrive Consulting. So my world revolves around people and people living the best life that they can and creating an environment of the best for other people if they are business owners or if it's just for themselves. And it also is something that trickles into our families and the relationships that we have all around us. So I'm in the business of people, right? And what I want to do, and hopefully what you're getting, if you've been listening to my podcast, is tips on how to really bring those results higher and higher in your life so that you can start to make room for things that you truly want and start to let go of the things that are holding you back. Now, this can be positioned for anything. It can be positioned just for your personal life. It could be something that you apply into your business or into the work that you do. The tips are meant for every area of our life, right? So getting out of that place of just compartmentalizing and just focusing in one area. If you put the focus in on you and you being the best and living to your best self, that will trickle in every single area of yours, right? Cool. So let's get started. So anyone who's listened to some of the past podcasts or even some of the work that I do on my Facebook Live feeds, Charlotte Farrow, Change by Choice on Facebook, hear me talk about this first tip a lot because it's something I'm really passionate about getting people to see. Usually when we're heading into a new year, we talk about the goals that we want to set, the resolutions that we want to set. I mean, my last podcast last week was how to kick resolutions to the curb and why that's so important. But we're forward thinking, all the things that excite us, which is fantastic. I'm not trying to get you guys to not do that. But my first tip is really how to evaluate and create a plan for what held you back from the year before. So taking some time to reflect and think about, what held me back? What were my obstacles? Now, they could be belief systems that you have, thought processes about yourself, about other people. They could be, the relationship from you to you. Like, how strong is your relationship? Did you stand in your own way? It could be people that you have in your life that aren't helping you, be the best that you can be, are pulling you down, are just, are toxic, are negative, right? Could be a job that you're in or projects that you're taking on that you just don't feel good about. So every place that we make a decision to give our time up or our energy up in, then that is what we deem as our priorities. And you just want to feel really great about where you're spending your time and your energy, right? So that's the first tip, is take some time to sit down and start to think about what held me back, any belief systems that you have about yourself, any thought processes that are coming up that are negative, maybe lack of confidence, lack of support, lack of competency in certain areas. Start to write them down. And then what you want to do with that list is start to evaluate, is this something that needs to get cut from my life right now? It's really not serving me. It's hurting me. And it just needs to go. So you're almost setting an action plan for it. So another type of item could be a competency item. It's like, well, I didn't do great in my job here because I'm missing such and such skill. So the question is, so what are you going to do about that? You know, it's either that you change your role so that it's not encompassing that item, or how are you holding yourself accountable to go learn the skills that you need so that you can be the best at what you do? There are no excuses anymore with learning. We have like everything at our fingertips, but desire. Desire comes from you. And so you've got to make a choice. So how badly do you want it? And if you're working for somebody else, it's like, so then what's feeding that drive? Do you think about stuff like, what's your legacy going to be when you leave? Do you have pride in what you do, in the imprint that you leave behind, regardless if it's your company or you're working for somebody else? And if you're not loving what you do, and maybe it's a toxic environment, then maybe that goes back to that first point, which is create an action plan. Start to set that date. You know, be clear with yourself. I'm going to give myself till March 31st. During that time, I'm going to go and find something else. Be clear with the date. Don't leave it in gray space. It's amazing what happens when you set a date to something and you're clear. When you're clear, then the process starts to work. Possibilities will start to come up. You'll meet somebody that connects you to something, but you have to become clear first. Cool? So go through that list and go through every single one and create a timeline and action plan for it. And if it's something that you can drop today, drop it. It is taking your valuable energy, time, and happiness. And you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? My guess is probably not. Cool. All right. Second tip. Create more white space in your schedule and reclaim your morning. This is huge. This is one of the pillars that kind of changed my life in high performance coaching. And I can tell you when I'm on my game versus off of my game is if I've reclaimed my morning or if I've let that go. It's that results driven, right? So I'm going to explain to you what that means. First off, white space is time in your schedule for you to have time with you. That you're not busy driving, running around, that you're not jam-packed thing to thing to thing to thing. You got to give yourself a little time to be able to connect with yourself, to have time to reflect. It's in the white space that not only do you refuel yourself, but that's also where you actually figure out solutions to issues that are coming up for yourself. If you don't allow yourself for the space, then you're not going to find the solution. You're going to be stuck in the hamster wheel, constantly in that vicious cycle, never kind of getting out, and always wondering why you're getting the same result and why you're not, why you're lacking joy and engagement in your life. So your desire for that change needs to be larger than just staying in that, right? So just needs some action and some clarity and a little courage to be able to step out of it. So in terms of morning routine, some great tips too are, first off, it's how you wake up in the morning. So depending if you've got children or what it looks like in your world, if you've got children, I say wake up an hour before your children do. It's essential to putting yourself in the right mindset to really owning your day is to carve out that time for yourself. That's stress-free. That's just for you. And just like anything else, developing a habit, you just need to do it consistently. Do it consistently, and then all of a sudden, you might never love it waking up an hour early, but you'll do it because you're going to see the results and the reward that you get through the rest of your day, through your life. You're going to see what opens up for you. But your job is to be consistent with it. So a couple things that I have on my list, and some tips from my mentor as well, Brendan Bouchard. You know, having that glass of water beside your bed, starting off by hydrating your body, 20 ounces, just drink it. Again, it's not about you liking it or feeling like it or not feeling like it. It's about what is the best for you and your body so that you can actually achieve the level of performance that you want in your day. It's switching your mindset on how are you treating your body? Are you treating it like a fine luxury motor vehicle? Or are you treating it like the garbage can? Because I hear a lot when I'm working with clients like, oh, I just don't have the time. And it's not about having the time. It's about weeding out things that don't matter and generating time within your schedule, being the most efficient and effective that you can. And your body is your tool, it's your asset. So it's adjusting how you think about that. If you're not treating your body well, you're not going to have anything in the long run, right? So starting off, drinking that glass of water, stretching, opening your body up, even if it's for 5 minutes, just adding in something that's different. It doesn't have to be extreme. Anyone who listens to some of my past podcasts, you'll hear it's like, it's not about these drastic, crazy changes. It's about these small shifts that we make day to day that then compound on each other. Create that tipping point for yourself, right? It's something that's sustainable, that you can feel good about. They're small wins. You're going to feel better at the end of the day. You're going to start your next day feeling like you're on your game. Don't set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for success. Start small, build, right? So now this depends on where you're at. Fitness, either in the morning or in the afternoon. Again, don't let it be a choice. It gets scheduled into your schedule. Because again, it's how are you treating your body? What is your relationship to how you are treating it? Put yourself first. Don't let it be this like, I don't feel like it today. It's like, no, it's actually non-negotiable. It just gets done. You got to figure out when it works for you. If it's morning, then just get it done in the morning. Then you don't have to think about it. Now, also varying on different activity levels, maybe your level is to go for a walk outside. Maybe it's to walk on the treadmill. Maybe it's to do an online video. Not all of us can make it to the gym, but there are tons of solutions out there. Different time capacities depending on, varying levels. So there are no excuses. You just need to do it. Another one is taking some time to do a brain dump of journaling, of some self-reflection time. Just getting down on paper, just anything that is coming up for you, any creative ideas that you have. Now, what you've noticed is I haven't talked about you checking your phone, going on social media, turning on the TV. You've got to allow your mind the space to just be able to create and get ideas out before you fill it up with negative stuff, other people's priorities. You haven't checked email yet, right? So change that pattern. You might be like, well, I already have a pattern right now, or a routine. I drink my coffee, I check my Facebook, I check my emails. Is that getting you better results for your day? Because the research shows that in terms of emails, if you're checking your email first thing in the morning, you lose 30% productivity during your entire week. Not only that, you're putting your day into a reactive zone. You never know when you're going to look at that one email that's going to send you into a tailspin. So protect that first hour. That's your time. Eating well, having a great foundational breakfast, whether it be like a super smoothie that you have, or, steel cut oats or protein, eggs, whatever it might be, but get away from the processed crap and start to fuel yourself properly. And then what you want to do too is take a look at your schedule. So you've done your brain dump. You've gotten, creative ideas out there. Maybe you've written, a blog post. Maybe you've done, something that's in the creative realm. Now it's time to also take a look at, like, what does your day look like? Are there any shifts and changes that need to happen? Take a look at your time blocking. And if you're not time blocking, I highly encourage it. It's important to know where you're spending your time and how long you have to offer. Because we only have so many hours during the day, and the problem is people are trying to cram in too many items, and then they feel at the end of the day like they didn't accomplish what they could have. Well, no kidding. You had more items than you did have time. That's not setting yourself up for success, right? So let this year be the year of discipline and habit, which will create more freedom for yourself, more mind freedom, more time freedom. You're going to feel more joyous. You're going to feel happier, more confident, less stressed. I don't know about you, but that all sounds really amazing. And like I said at the beginning, when I'm on my A game and I'm doing my morning routine, my life is quite seamless. I feel like I've got so much energy. When I start to take that morning routine away or start to sleep in a little bit more, then my day just feels just a little bit more chaotic. Awesome. I hope you got some great tips in there. So third one, be accountable for the energy that you put out, right? So, depending on how you're feeling, you got to make a choice on how you want to show up each day. Sometimes we deal with, really crappy things, and it could put us in a bad mood. And it doesn't do us any justice by going out and then spreading those feelings and that bad mood to everybody else. At work, the grocery store, on public, on the phone, right? Be responsible for what you put out there, and you will feel that much better about yourself. Not only that, it will start to put you back in a good mood. It's not, when I think of like, so I call it spreading garbage, but it is, our energy affects every single other human being that we're around. And don't let that be the gift that you're giving people, right? And not only that, it's learning how to work with that. Learning how to be like, hey, things might not be going great, but I can still hold myself accountable and I can still show up a certain way. And that's strengthening your mindset because you are in control. You have a choice every single moment of every single day in terms of how you're going to show up. Start to think about it. Telling you make that shift, you're going to feel different. You're going to look at the world differently. You're going to accomplish more. All right, number 4. So we kind of tapped into this one with the morning routine and the morning habits, but change your mindset about your own health and putting yourself first. So this especially too with children. I hear a lot of people being like, oh, no, like my top priority is my children, which I am, again, I'm not saying for that not to be true, but you need to be your top priority. And the more that you fill yourself up and make sure that you are taken care of, the more that you have to offer and give to people around you. If you are working your energy into a deficit and you're in illness, you're about to hit burnout, you've got nothing to give. You can't be that person that you want to be as a parent. You're not going to have the patience that you want. Same thing goes at work when you're working with teams and people, right? Our body and our mind is the most important asset in our life. We need to role model that, especially if you've got children, right? Because you don't know when you're going to hit a wall. Our body remembers everything, and every choice that we make has a consequence, good or bad. So if you're going through these ups and downs of like, oh, being really healthy and then being really not healthy and just keep going back up and down, that's taking a toll on your body. So you might be in a place where you're like, oh, I'm so healthy right now. I'm treating my body so good. But your body hasn't forgotten how you treated it in the past. That could be when you still hit a wall, when you have achieved burnout. And then what does that look like if you're not able to work and you can't provide, or you have no energy, or you're bedridden for months? You just never know. Start to think a little bit more about the choices that you're making now and what potential they have for the future. And it's not about sitting in fear. It's about being real and asking yourself why. Why am I choosing to treat my most important asset the way that I am? And then it's going to start to flip, like I said, about stuff like if you're like, I don't feel like eating healthy. I don't feel like working out. You don't make it an option. It's just something that you do. And if that's how you have to tackle it every single day, then that's how you have to tackle it. And hopefully one day you'll connect and you'll just do it because it feels so good. And then when you're going to fall out of it, that's going to feel really bad. And you're going to jump back in a lot quicker than you will have in the past. You're going to feel better about yourself. It's about creating that space for yourself, more pride, more confidence. Right? We don't feel great when we're not treating ourselves great. We're not going to bed being like, wow, I had a really winning day today. But when we are making the right choices and we keep ourselves in a strong structure with discipline and habit, we do feel really great about what we've done. All right, and I really want you to sit in that one for a little bit too, because it's important to understand what your current relationship is with yourself, in terms of how you truly treat your body and your mind. So number 5, last tip for right now, it's learn how to say no. Love it. Embrace it. Use it. So you can start off with that first list that you created in terms of what do you not want to move into this new year. And you can start to say no on some of those items. Maybe there are a few projects that you're like, Kate, you know what? I feel resentful that I'm doing this work or this thing and I don't feel good about it. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to, you don't have to be mean about it. You don't have to be harsh about it. You can just explain why and just start to cut some certain things off your list so that you can generate more time, more energy, and more capacity in your day or in your week. And then moving forward, sometimes when people ask us to do something or take something on, now it depends on the request, we feel this urgency that we have to give an answer right away, right? You're like in front of them, you're like, oh, kind of feel bad, don't want to say no, so I'm going to say yes, but I feel I don't actually want to do it. And what does that say? You know what I mean? If we're going to do something for somebody or take something on or take on a project, your heart should be in it. There should be a part of you that's like, yes, I want to do this. Not like feeling bad about it, right? And so you can always say in that moment, you know what? Let me think about it. I need to take a look at my schedule. I need to make sure it makes sense. Give yourself some time. You can give them an answer after. Or if you know for sure that it's a hard no, you can just nicely say, you know what? I've got too much on my plate right now. And, if I were to take it on, I probably wouldn't do a great job at it. Or I probably would start to kind of resent having taken it on, You can just have a conversation about it. At the end of the day, beyond the explanation, if someone gets upset over that, that's their deal. What you're showing up as is authentic and honest and direct, which at the end of the day, most people value more than the no or than the yes. So just think about how you're showing up. Where do you feel bad about the choices that you're currently making? And where can you 10x things in your life? And it really comes down to how we are managing our time, our energy, our space, and ourselves. That's how you generate more. That's how you become more joyous and more engaged in your life. And sometimes it's just making a choice on how you're going to show up for people and how you're going to show up for yourself. So those are the 5 tips. I'll definitely be kind of continuing on in that dialogue, in that realm. And, but those 5 ones should set you off well for the beginning. And just action some of them. It's not about being perfect. It's just about moving forward. And forward is forward. Doesn't matter how small or how large the step. Set yourself up for success. And just make sure that what you take on, you feel good about and you can maintain and sustain. Right? Cool. As always, you can also, get more information and more tips. And I share a lot of content on my Facebook page, Charlotte Pro Change by Choice. I also have got my website, my blog there at charlottepro.com. You've got the podcast. And if ever you have suggestions or topics that you'd like me to speak to, you can always send me a message on Facebook or to my email, which you can find on my website. So I hope you guys have an amazing, start to the year, but more so, I hope that you keep up with it. I hope that you set yourself up for success and that you feel great about the process and that you bring more joy and more engagement and more happiness into your life every single day. You guys take care.